Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another One Piece anime episode review for you guys, as I guess we're getting the start to the epilogue or the post Wano arc material. Um this episode, to be honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have just did a dual episode review going into next week, but obviously that would leave you guys with like no video for like a whole week. But you know, that's I gotta get my Bleach video out too in preparation for the last two episodes of this core of Bleach. But this episode we just basically get the start to the climax, or to the start of the post Wano arc, I guess, basically, where it's kind of a ending, or like kind of a true, I wouldn't say a true ending, but the start to an ending. So some things happen in the grand scheme of things. Did anything important happen in this episode? Not really, outside of the last part of the episode where Hiyori and Denjiro shows their face to the crowd after Momonosuke basically proclaims like he's not Kaido, and Kaido has been defeated. But yeah, so anyways, we pick up right where we left off from last week. After Luffy defeated Kaido, Kaido ends up falling into the pit of lava that Big Mom ended up falling into, and it's kind of a freaking coincidence that the guy he helped Orochi kill and Odin basically wasn't, well, Odin wasn't in lava, but was in a boiling pot, basically, of, I guess, well, yeah, a boiling pot, a crazy intense boiling pot. But it's kind of like when I was going through this in the manga, it was kind of like a symbolic like type of way. Is like, oh well, or I wouldn't say symbolic way, but kind of like a karma thing, like a full circle thing, like the fact that he saw a man burn basically to death, even though it looks like Kaido's not dead, but Kaido's like in lava boiling away. Again, if he's dead, who knows? We'll see, I guess. But it's kind of a karma thing or a full circle thing for Kaido, where he watched a man he was fighting up against, boil in basically a pot of lava, and now he's boiling in lava, which, hey, sometimes that happens. So if you do something bad to somebody, you better hope the same thing doesn't come back to bite you, and you know what. But anyways. Um so after that whole incident, Luffy's fallen down to the ground. Yamato ends up catching Luffy, basically, saying like, oh, it's finally over. It's, that's kind of the thing. You have it to where Nekomamushi, or Cat Viper, basically proclaims to everybody through the transponder snail saying like, Kaido's been defeated, he's won, Luffy won, finally we got our revenge and everything. We have honored the battle that Lord Odin wanted us to do and everything. We fulfilled the prophecy of the 20-year prophecy, and basically everybody is like getting up in arms and everything. They're like, yes, it's finally over. So we kind of get some cutaways, like we have it to where we see a cutaway to Kid where he just kind of sits down. Killer's like, well, it seems like we finished off, or like, seems like we went big hunting, huh? And basically Kid's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I think he's kind of upset with the fact that he wasn't the one to defeat Kaido. It was Luffy that did it. We cut over to Law. He's just kind of like, well, it's finally over. For Law, it's like this whole storyline with him been going back to Punk Hazard, so he's probably reflecting of like, shit, finally, it's all over. Dating back all the way to Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, now here. My goodness. Finally, this freaking this alliance can end with Straw Hat, probably, is what he's thinking. Beppo comes in and freaking like, Captain, come here. We cut away to everybody else. Nami and Otama are happy. Old Man Hio and Kawamatsu are happy and everything, and relieved. You have a funny moment where Chopper is patching up people, but then you just have a bunch of injured people that just start showing up, like, Chopper, can you please fix this up? Chopper, can you please fix this up? You know, and he's like losing his mind, and he's like, one at a time, people, one at a time. Brooke and Robin kind of have a little funny joke moment and everything, so yeah, but that was a nice little funny moment right then and there. So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. We do cut over to the flower capital, and or we see the lanterns going up and everything. And basically we kind of focus in on Tenguyama and Otoko. And basically this leads to a flashback scene back to when Otoko first ate a smile devil fruit, and everything. Or at first they were reminiscing about, like, well, I think it was mostly Tenguyama reminiscing about Yasui and everything he did, and then that leads into the flashback of Otoko, where we kind of find out like she ate a smile devil fruit, like on well, I wouldn't say on accident, but she basically didn't do what Yasui told her to do when Yasui gave her like strict orders to not eat it smile devil fruit, but she ended up eating it, and obviously that's how her face became the face she is today. And you know, when Yasui showed up, he was like, I thought I told you not to eat this and everything, and she starts getting emotional and crying, albeit, you know, she's still showing that laughing like face and everything. And you could tell like, oh, she didn't mean to do it, and she literally said like, well, I was hungry, so you know, it's like you can't blame a kid who's hungry, like a little girl that's hungry, you know, and everything. And for a country that basically had any food, they were probably eating like scraps basically. You know, she was hungry, and obviously she had to eat something, and she thought this was something that would satisfy her. And you know, Yasui looked back at the people laughing, who I take it were other people that ate the smile devil fruit. So that's when he starts eating it, and that's how we got the face of that, you know, of who he was and everything. And if you remember a few episodes ago, Otoko's lantern basically kind of made the message of saying like, I miss you, Dad. And basically she ended up changing it because Tenguyama was like, well, you know, your father did a lot for you and everything, so you know, I wouldn't exactly say that message. And she's like, okay. She thought about it, and she was like, you know what, you're right, he did provide a lot for me. She changed the message as the lantern. Instead of saying like, you know, I miss you, Daddy, it's like, thank you for everything, Dad. So kind of like a nice way for Otoko to have a send-off to her father in terms of the lantern. So yeah, eventually after that whole scene, you have it when Momonosuke flies through the flower capital. The people go crazy because they think it's Kaido, and like, wait, Kaido's not supposed to be here, this is our free day of the day, like the fire festival is supposed to be the day where we can do whatever we want freely whenever we want, and Orochi and Kaido can't do nothing about it. But that's when Momonosuke pretty much proclaims like, no, I am not Kaido, I am someone else. You know, and you know, also too, I forgot to make a mention because Momonosuke before this, he also called out to Zunisha. What he talked to Zunisha about, they didn't really show. Also, this gigantic volcanic eruption happened, and I forgot to mention, the Beast Pirates, they don't believe that Kaido has been defeated. And basically Yamato shows them, is like, well, if you don't want to believe it, well then I'll just kick your ass right here, right now, and I'll make you believe it. And basically like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, we believe you, all right, okay. So yes, that was kind of a funny scene right then and there. I skipped a lot actually, but this big gigantic volcanic eruption just happens now. That's how Momonosuke gets into there. We don't know if like Big Mom and Kaido were involved in this volcanic eruption because they were literally in the ground with this lava basically floating. So maybe this volcanic eruption just shot them off somewhere now. It did in the manga from what I remember. Again, it's been a while since I read the One Piece manga in terms of where we were at. So in terms of where the story was at that point in time, but regardless. But anyways, like I said, going back to Flower Capital, Momonosuke basically tells everybody, I'm not I'm not Kaido. You guys need to hear me out. You know, that volcanic eruption that just happened, that's the signal of the fact that Kaido has been defeated, and there will be a new era in Wano basically starting. And basically, he goes into the ground, creates this cloud of like smoke or dust and people are like, there are people walking, and then you obviously see the silhouettes of Denjiro and Hiyori, but also you also see the other scabbards as well. You don't see excuse me, oh man, it's late. You don't see Momonosuke yet, but into the picture, but you end up seeing the silhouettes, and basically, you know, when Hiyori and Denjiro walks out, they're like, Komurasaki, you're still alive? This has got to be a dream. You're dead. And everything. And then they also make the mention around Denjiro and him looking a little bit slightly different, in terms of, you know, his alter ego at the time. And basically, you know, that's when Denjiro is like, you see, we have a lot to actually tell you and everything. And as the to be continued screen pops up, that's when Denjiro says, it's time for everybody to meet the new Shogun of Wano, basically. And that's where the episode ends off. Next week, it's going to be Momonosuke basically appearing before the people of Wano, basically, more than likely saying, like, the prophecy has been fulfilled. I'm Kazuki Oden's son, Kazuki Momonosuke, and I came 20 years into the future to save Wano, basically. So, yes, and this should be the first time we see his adult form, because remember, Shinobu aged him up. So, yes, but solid episode of One Piece. It's kind of the start of the post-Wano arc. So, yeah, not really from what I know, things are starting to start to chill down, but at the same time, will also start to get hectic too, before the Straw Hats leave Wano as well, from what I know with the manga. So yeah, and we're basically at the part after this prologue, or after this epilogue stuff happens, and I'll make a mention in that episode review when it comes, but basically One Piece is now for the anime is now in its final arc, or well, not final arc, final saga, because now that Wano is ending, back at the time when the manga for Wano ended, basically, if you're an anime only, Oda basically had a message saying, like, yeah, now basically the final saga for One Piece is starting, which now means we're getting close to the end of One Piece. Obviously the manga is a little bit ahead of where the anime is at, but regardless, you get the point. You know, we're now getting to the end game of One Piece, and I'm telling you, for anime onlys that don't know what to expect going forward, the story massively is going to get a lot more crazier going forward, and you're going to have a lot of shocks, twists, and turns that, to be honest, you probably won't even see coming, and you'll just be left speechless like, oh, this ain't like what we've been getting the last few years in terms of the One Piece anime and in terms of this story. So, just letting anime onlys know, things for the One Piece story are definitely going to change for the better, but change in more of a hectic way that may openly makes you go out there see that, okay, yeah, they're revealing this. Yeah, we're in the end game of One Piece, but that's basically it. That's all I have to say. So, anyways, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of One Piece, as well as hit that subscribe button to get more One Piece content or any other anime content I upload to the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day, night, and I'm trying this video. Peace.